You know how sometimes you just hate people?
Load the file.
I'm supposed to wear myself out for the team? What team?
All right, well, I guess we can jump in. What is that? Is that a bottle?
That's a bottle.
Is that a glass bottle? Oh, I thought it was like a big thing of glass. I was like, what is that?
Like a blown. I had my water bottles custom glass blown.
Dude, you know there's somebody who does that. There's no way that somebody doesn't do that. That's kind of,
I feel like an alchemist. A lot of money in that. I feel like an alchemist, when you're drinking your water.
Dude, I have to do that every potions. I have to do that every time I go to the Ren Fair here. Like, that's the one I want to see is the glass blowing. I don't know why. You get to relax. You get in the shade a little bit. You get to kind of just like listen to someone else talk and do something.
If you ever want to not wait for that, you just hop on How It's Made TV show and you just pop on the glass blowing episode, dude.
How does that guy sound? The How It's Made guy? He's like, well, the one that I hear on the internet all the time is like a joke on like when they're making like saltine crackers and they do like they show like white people and they're like coming down an alleyway or something. And they're like the crackers travel down a pathway.
That's like, awesome.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
It's a good bit. Hey, welcome back to the Save File. If you're listening,
welcome back.
We give you all the sounds, and if you're watching,
we give you all the sights.
We give you all the sights.
You pay extra for that though.
Yeah, you can't just click a button and then watch it. You have to definitely pay us some more money. We have a Patreon and everything.
If you're gonna get all the sights, you better dish out a little cash.
The sights, the sounds. We can't give texture, so we can't give the feels. We can give a certain kind of feels, but not the feels.
Yeah.
We can't give the smells. Not yet. Smell-o-vision. Maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
What am I missing? Touch, sight, hearing, smell. Sound? I got them. We got them.
Yeah, we got them all. Those are the five senses. Sixth sense. Well, you can't see dead people, but...
So, if we ever had Bruce Willis on, but sadly, he's going... we're going into a dark hole. Let's get out of here. All right. Today's episode, love Bruce Willis movies. Sad to see he's dealing with something difficult, but yeah, is what it is. I guess life's sometimes. That's the perfect segue. So today we're gonna talk about some team oriented stuff, some team like studies, some teamwork. I thought it'd be fun to go over that dynamic. Just you can compare it to work, you can compare it to life. I guess a family unit could be a team. It can do anything with teams, but it's been something that's been on my mind as I work in a lot of project type work, and I feel like teams, they change because it's like, yeah, you might have your initial team that you work with, but then you have different stakeholders you work with. Or if you're in a family dynamic and you and your wife like go on a double date with somebody, that's like a team dynamic in the sense you're going to go do something together. I don't know. I'm really rambling on about nothing. So I have my first question. It's kind of a fun question, and we'll jump onto that one first, and then we can kind of just see where the world takes us. So my first question on the team stuff is, if you could build your dream team using people from movies, TV, history, whatever, who's on it and why? And let's say we had like 5. Did you think of 5? Because this was a preface question before. Or did you get to 5?
I did get to 5, yeah. I had some reworks, too.
All right, do you want to hit each do our own team, or do you want to go back and forth? How do you want to do it?
I feel like the context... What were you thinking?
I was going to say maybe all at once, because then it's the context of how your team works. Yeah. All right. You go first.
Okay.
Why you laugh? It's not funny.
You always throw me in the fire, man.
All right, you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
All right, so number 1 on my list is Kurt Lazarus from Tropic Thunder.
Okay. I don't think I would have ever pulled that one. That's crazy take. Okay, keep going.
You gotta have mad respect for Robert Downey Jr. going full blackface, dude.
Dude, he's a dude playing another dude that's disguised as another dude.
Disguised as another dude.
Crazy. What would be your justification for having
I'm
just
kidding. I'm joking, man.
It's just like, is it courage? Is it just the courage? You're like, he is Iron Man in another movie, so.
Yeah, no, there's a certain level of comfort that comes from hearing, Kurt Lazarus tell you how to do things. I think no. So one question I did have though, am I on the team? Am I the fifth member or am I the sixth member?
I originally came up with it. It was like team of 5, including you, and then I went, no, just do team of 5. You don't have to be the leader. You could be on the team, but you could really do whatever if you want to put yourself on it. I have 5 that like I'm not on it, but I have 5.
Okay, that's what I did. All right, I'm gonna run through them here. Okay, number 1 pick, Abraham Lincoln. Mostly because
no one's gonna get confused about another Lincoln.
Yeah, just in case. There's a lot of Lincolns out there, man. Okay. Nobody else could have bridged that gap during the Civil War, and I feel like if he can bring a nation together that way, then
as Drake Bell says, he found a way.
He found a way. That's right. There you go.
That's pretty good. No, you're right. He's a good olive branch person.
He was my replacement for like Captain America. If we were gonna go, I'm trying to avoid some superheroes, but honestly, like Captain America is good, but he also didn't prevent his own Civil War. So, and he didn't really fix it either. So I don't know.
It's true. It kind of just like dissipated. It didn't really get a strong resolution. I don't know. Did it?
Hang on.
Anyway.
1 sec.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Sec.
It seems we might have a child or a sound or maybe a puppy for those who can hear. And you're not watching. Oh, and we thank you for our sponsors. We are back.
I was hearing weird noises upstairs.
Will heard you talking about him. He's trying to haunt you now.
He might be.
He just comes to the door. He's like...
That's what's freaking
walks
me
away,
out, man. Because Danny went for a walk, and I'm hearing like weird noises.
All right, go lock the door. Is there a lock on that door? Go lock the door.
Well, there is, but like my kids,
Well, you can get out if you lock it.
What I'm saying though is I'm locking myself in this room while my kids are unprotected upstairs.
I know. I'm just kidding.
What the heck?
Do you want to investigate? We can go to a commercial break.
Yeah, do a commercial break for me.
All right.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Dun, 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 dun. Hey, I'm here to tell you all about our sponsor today. It's called Focus Mite. Focus Mite. It helps you focus. You ever have ADHD like me? I have ADHD, in case you didn't know. If you watch the podcast, you might know. Focus Mite is a once-a-year supplement. It's very huge. It's like a big pill, but you only have to take it once a year, and it helps you focus. What kind of focus? We don't know, but that's enough from our sponsor, and we're back. Focus Mite.
It's damn neighbor kids.
I went with the Focus Mite sponsor. Focus Mite was a good one.
Focus Mite.
Neighbor? Did you say neighbor kids?
Yeah, I said damn neighbor kids. They're screaming.
Will's
I can
building
hear
a
them
team.
all the way in the basement.
He's building a team.
Man, stupid kids. Okay.
Are they just standing there like in Weapons? Are they just standing there like? Have you seen that clip where all the kids are just in the basement and they're like?
Oh, I haven't seen the. They're not in my basement.
Clips online or anything.
I'm in my basement.
Oh, that's
and
true.
I can hear them, the neighbor kids, from outside my house, in my basement. It's crazy. Anyways.
All right.
Okay.
You had Lazarus.
Yeah, Kurt Lazarus. Abraham Lincoln, and we were talking about Captain America. Didn't do so good
Civil War.
rectifying his own Civil War, and yeah, they just dropped it, and it was kind of the end of it. So he didn't make the list, but Abraham Lincoln fixed his Civil War problem, and that's why he makes the list. So Abraham Lincoln going to be the guy that brings everyone together. Okay. Then you got Alexander the Great.
Okay.
Because I need some tenacity on the team. I need like a guy who just like is super ambitious and won't quit until he achieves the objective. And then I've got Nick Saban. You know, Coach Nick Saban, the guy who coined the term "the process."
I don't know that one.
Okay.
Wait, Nick Saban. The name sounds familiar to me.
Yeah. So
Actually, I might know who you're talking about. Let me look him
you
up.
probably do. He's the coach for is it Alabama? I want to say it was
Bama?
Alabama.
Yeah, he's got the yeah. I know who you're talking about. I was like,
Yeah,
I know
Alabama.
the name because I don't know college ball that well. I mean, I don't know football in general, but like that well. But college stuff definitely. What's his process? Is that why you brought him on because of the process?
Well, no, I mean he just has a focus on trusting the process. So the process is just put in the right inputs, get out the right outputs, right? So like
Okay.
we're going to focus on it's less about focusing on winning the game, more about focusing on doing the right pieces of the game that leads to the win, right? Focusing on that stuff. So he's the guy that's going to bring some organization to the team, right? We're going to focus on the KPIs, the metrics. How are we tracking towards the objective? And then I'm going to throw in some Gandalf because Gandalf brings some wisdom to the team.
I knew you'd have a Lord of the Rings character. I too have a Lord of the Rings character.
Oh.
I thought you were going to put Aragorn though. I didn't think you were going to put Gandalf.
He wasn't even on my drafts, but he should have been. He kind of is the Lincoln. He would be kind of the Lincoln guy, right? Like the one that's kind of leading the team a little bit. But
Yeah, there might be some conflict because like Gandalf is he's like an alpha in a way, but he's not like going to like shove out of the way to take that lead like Aragorn or Lincoln might. But so it might be good that you chose Gandalf over that.
Yeah, so Gandalf's there again, the wisdom, but I also think he can be kind of contrarian, right, to certain things like. Somebody who's a little overeager in their thought process, Gandalf would be the one to be like, well, hold on a second. I don't know if you're thinking about it this way, right? He can kind of see things from a different angle. And then the last one I have is, now this is how I started my list. This is how I started my team. And then I axed this person from the team because I only put them there because I thought they were awesome. And I couldn't figure out, like, how do they really fit on my team? But then after creating the other 4, I was like, you know what? He's actually a perfect fit.
Wait, don't say it.
Flesh it out.
Let me try to guess. Is it a video game character?
Sure.
Okay, so it's not Master Chief because I thought you were going to say Chief.
It is a video game character.
It is video game, but it's not Master Chief. I think is it Arthur Morgan?
I don't even know who that is.
It's from Red Dead Redemption. I don't know if you played that.
Oh, I never played the second one.
Oh, okay. Anyways,
You said John Marston.
Yeah, that was the other one I was thinking.
That's a good pick. It's Master Chief, dude.
Oh, it is Master Chief. I knew it.
Yeah.
I told Sarah, I was like, Lord of the Rings character, Master Chief. John's going to be on there somewhere.
He's the muscle. Dude, if I'm in trouble and I got to get out of a situation, Chief's going to handle it no matter what. And he brings other stuff, strategic mindset. He's an executor. He's the perfect example of like strategy mind, but he's always rolling up his sleeves to do the dirty work.
The worry that I had with him that I told my wife when we were swimming and we were talking about this was Chief hasn't been on a team in a long time. So would that be a difficult thing? He was on a team at some point, but would that be a difficulty for him to like get back on a team, maybe demand the leadership, or if he was okay with backing off a little bit, would he just struggle to not like go do his own thing at some point and not listen to other people? I wondered that. I wasn't sure.
I feel like, the reason I put him back on the list is because I was thinking of other muscle to put on the team. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you could put a lot of like there's a better muscle, right? Like Superman. Or the Hulk.
Thor. Yeah, there's lots of people you could do, yeah.
But they're not manageable because they're too powerful.
It's true, they're too much, yeah.
And they're not soldiers, but who is a soldier? Master Chief. And who's going to be able to tell a soldier what to do well? Abraham Lincoln, right? Or Alexander the Great. So I've got two great general presidents, chief commander-in-chiefs that are ready to just
But two leaders? I didn't think about that. Lincoln, Alex, like, where would the world be without the popes? That's an Office reference. I don't know if you remember that one.
I do remember that one, yeah.
Did you think about that? Like, would they clash? Or do you think, like, Lincoln would still edge out Alex?
I think he could do it. I think Lincoln could do it.
What's your last one?
That was it. That was all 5.
Wait, what was... Oh, yeah, Chief after Gandalf. You said Gandalf. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So I felt out a couple of those.
Does Chief come with Cortana? Because that's his special. That's a bonus.
Ooh, that's tricky. Yeah, I would feel like you'd have to. Like, I'll go
think you
through
have
my
to.
list. If like I had, I don't know. If I had Iron Man, it's like, do I get his armor? It's like, if I had Tony Stark, do I get the Iron Man suit? It's like, yes.
Also Jarvis.
So, right, yeah. It's and my gal Friday or whatever he has after
Yeah.
Jarvis. So, like, yeah, I feel like you would have to. All right, let me go through my list. I was surprised at what I picked. I just really thought through. I went more character driven. Now, like personality wise, like there is some physicality elements. But again, when I was talking to Sarah about it, she went more like physical choices with like, intelligence as well. She did what you did. I took a different route for some reason. My first one off the rip would not have been my first one if you asked me a week ago this question, but it somehow was. A-list pick, S tier actually, Hermione Granger.
Wow.
Hermione's intelligent. She's brave. She's great at what she does. She also has the magical abilities if you need it for like a physicality reason.
True.
But I feel like she's really good at keeping you on track or getting you out of a bind. I feel like she's just really, really smart. And I need that. You need that like stable rock of intelligence. So that's why I went with Hermione. Love the other two.
In one fell swoop, you've picked a great character and made me look like a misogynist in the first.
Why?
But I appreciate it.
Oh, because you have all guys. I didn't even think about that. And made me look like a misogynist. I'll be honest. I will tell you at the end, I had someone on here that I thought was a great pick, but I picked her early on, and she was my second pick. And then after I did the other ones, I was like, she just feels like her qualities are great, but the other people combined have the qualities, so it feels like it just was an imbalance.
I think that's fair because, like, for all the listeners, I had a list of 20, and 15 of them were women, and they didn't.
Oh yeah, you're holding up the list. I can see it. You're right.
Yeah. Once I picked Lincoln,
you put my mom on there. You put my sister Amber
Yeah,
on there. They're all on there. You're right.
once I put Lincoln and then Alexander, I just couldn't. I couldn't do. I just.
You were like, oh, Cleopatra, but Alex, too much.
Yeah, it wouldn't work. Yeah.
All right, my second one. This is my Lord of the Rings character. I chose Samwise Gamgee. I feel
Sam
like
is a good one, dude.
loyalty, and he's got persistence. You kind of mentioned
Yeah.
one of yours is having persistence. So to me, I was like, that feels like that's important to me. Someone who just won't give up. I didn't want to put a superhero on. If I had, that would be Peter Parker, because I feel like Spider-Man is like the embodiment of like heart and not giving up.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm not gonna go with that. We'll do Samwise. I feel like that makes sense. The third one is the person that I swapped. And it's funny because I went from like a very real grounded person to a like fictional character that couldn't be more different. But I decided at the end of the day, I wanted a wild card. So I've been watching One Piece, and there's a character named Monkey D. Luffy who's like the leader of like the pirate crew that he's in. And Monkey D. Luffy is like a kid at heart in a lot of ways, but he's my wild card in that he kind of will just do something that other people might never do. So I feel like you need that. As much as you don't want the repercussions of the bad side of that, I feel like sometimes you need someone who's going to make that push when no one else decides to do it, and it ends up working out. Even if it's like the ratio's against you, maybe it ends up working when it matters. So he also has superpowers. He's got like this stretchy, he can like stretch really far and he can fight. So he is like a powerhouse in that way. But wildcard was the reason. And then 4, these aren't necessarily in order of how I came up with them either. Katniss Everdeen from Hunger Games, and hers was she takes calculated risks. So for me, I was like, I need a risk taker. This is before Monkey D. Luffy came in. I was like, I need a risk taker because Luffy is like a crazy risk taker. I need her to be like well thought out. She's also, I feel like, a very strong, structured character who tries to do the right thing. And my last one, I had to go full heart. I needed someone who has leadership skills, who could bring the team together, really like kind of be like the Lincoln, but he's the heart of the team. And with Ted Lasso.
Nice. That's a good pick,
I
man.
couldn't help it.
That's a great pick.
I feel like I needed someone who had that like little element, like him and Sam would help be the boosters of the team, like get people back going if they started falling off.
Yeah.
So the person that I took off, was Harriet Tubman, and I thought Harriet Tubman was such a great real world pick of like getting through the impossible, figuring out how to do something that just seemed, like I said, impossible. So she went through a lot of heartache. She organized. She just felt like very structured. But I got rid of her because it feels like a lot of these characters, I know she's a real person, but a lot of these people, like they all have gone through things bad or like it made it out the other side. Like some of these characters have gone through some crazy stuff, or committed themselves to a like crazy cause that shouldn't have been considered crazy at the time. So I felt like she was great, and she wouldn't be a bad sub out. I just feel like I needed a wild card, and I didn't have like a true wild card, so that's why I was like, I'm gonna swap her out. But she would be the sixth man, so to speak. I think. Well, I guess that would be me, but the seventh, whatever. So yeah, that's the list.
Bench.
Yeah, she's on the B team.
She's on the Harriet Tubman bench.
I think my proudest picks though are Hermione and Ted Lasso, because like those, I feel like they're just so, I don't know. There's something about both of them that I went right to them like pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's a good list. It's interesting. We both had coaches on our list, like an actual like a.
Oh yeah,
coach.
in a sense, yeah, because they offer a certain element.
So that's kind of, for sure. I mean, it makes sense, but it is interesting. I also would say yours is probably a much more balanced team. Mine is probably a little over-leveraged in, like...
But you do have more power.
Pushing, like just trying to brute force an objective,
But yours would probably survive better in, like, a war or something like that, like, element by far, by far. I think Ted Lasso's getting cooked in a war. I'm just going to be straight.
Probably, yeah.
But okay, so that was fun. If anyone who's listening wants to drop their comment of like their team of 5, that would be awesome.
What was Sarah's?
So Sarah's list was Cap. I know Cap was on there. Oh, Nancy Drew. She's Nancy Drew girl, but also Nancy's like really smart. She's really like good at like figuring out issues and clues and whatever. She chose the guy from the show Criminal Minds, played by Matthew Gray Gubler, Spencer. He's like highly intelligent. Mm-hmm. I can't remember if she traded it off, but she co-opted Hermione from me because she was like, I really like that one. And then I'm trying to think of the last one. Oh. This is her second pick. She was like, Warren Buffett. She was like, he's got money, he's got resources, he's got intelligence. And I was That's like, true. You know what? Not a bad pick in a large scheme. Later, she was like trying to backpedal on it. She's like, I don't know, I might get rid of Warren Buffett. I was like, no. He's a unique pick. You got to stick with the buff. You got to keep it.
You just got to keep him juiced on Coke. Diet Coke or something. I can't remember what he drinks. Coke or Diet Coke. You keep him juiced on that, he makes some good investment decisions.
So yeah, she had a pretty good list. But hey, I'm gonna start asking everybody because I'm really curious to see what they pick. I was thinking like what Danny would pick too, and I was like, I wonder what she would pick of people.
I'll ask her. It's a fun question.
So yeah, that was kind of the first little kind of like let's just kind of see, and then I have a couple more thoughtful questions, and I have another kind of fun one that we can maybe end on, or I don't know.
Yeah.
And let me know if you have anything. I don't know if you had time to write anything.
I've got
up,
a
but
couple.
I definitely do.
I got a couple primed, but yours are going to be better, so just defer to you.
Okay, you can use one if you want. The second one that I have is kind of a structure off of. I was looking at like studies, like there's different studies that have been done on team and teamwork, on teams and teamwork. And one of the ones that came up was Google's Project Aristotle, which I guess ran from like 2012 to 2016. I guess it's one of the most famous like team studies, like as of late at least. Google analyzed hundreds of its own teams and found that how team members interact matters more than who is on the team. And the top predictor of team success was like a psychological safety, I guess was like the layer that they kind of figured out. Whether people felt safe to take risks and speak up without fear of being judged, like was a huge factor. So my question is going to stem from like a leadership perspective, like whether or not we've been leaders or not been leaders, just, from what we think leaders should be. How do you think we can actually build psychological safety? Like, what does it look like in practice, not just theory? What do you think that would physically look like on a day-to-day? How to give someone that level of psychological like safety? So for me, I think it looks like the leader being open, because I truly think attitude reflects leadership. Shout out, Remember the Titans. It's a line from that one, if anyone knows. I also feel that how feedback is received and given matters a lot. You have to be constructive, not judgmental about giving it, and you can't be highly defensive or closed off when receiving it, especially like the leader. Because then people aren't going to be real with you over time, and then you'll have this like fake world around you, and you'll think something's like going great, and all of a sudden it could fall apart, and then it's like, well, you kind of built this house of cards, so to speak.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. Do you have thoughts on that psychological safety component? Like, what physically can you do to make people feel like less judged, and like they can speak up and things like that?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. It's also a very fine line, like a line of balance, I think, in that regard too, because, like you said, from the standpoint of like, how do you help somebody feel safe, but also most of these things happen in a business discussion, right? Where
Sure.
could be a lot of money on the line, right? And one simple mistake could cost a company $1,000, or it could cost the company, $200,000. Or millions. So it's a little tricky, right? Because you want to be able to help people in a space where they can make mistakes, but that the stakes aren't high enough that the mistake is astronomical. So I don't know. I think it's, you kind of have to figure out where the line is a little bit on that stuff. But I just know in teams that I've worked on that it seems to work really well is just letting people make those mistakes in a safe environment and coaching them after, right? And not going after them, calling them names or belittling them or making it a big deal or publicly humiliating them. Like all these things that I think we just inherently know are not great ways to do things. But also helping make sure they understand the seriousness of what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like the potential repercussions, and so it's tough, and I noticed that myself too, right? And it's interesting how similar that is to being a parent on some level. Your last statement of if no one wants to give the boss bad news, right? Unless unless you're comfortable giving the boss bad. If you know that boss and that boss is okay receiving bad news, then you're okay bringing it to them. But if you know they're going to explode, you're not going to tell them, right? And then it's going to get worse. And then, like you said, one day they're going to get wise to it, and it's going to be a much bigger disaster than it could have been. But because there was no psychological safety, no one said anything, and so it just got worse. And that's, I think, very similar to being a parent, right? Or, frankly, any relationship, a husband, a son, whatever. If you're afraid of the reaction from the other person, you're just not going to tell them. Like, it's just pretty common sense type stuff. And so I think that's one thing for sure that makes a good leader, but also, like you said, in a team environment too, I think maybe the bigger challenge there is, as a leader, that's a good thing to do, and that's easy to control because you're your own individual person, and so you as the leader can work at that and strive to create that safe space between you and that other person. But I feel like the bigger challenge is how do you do that with not just the individuals, but also when your whole team gets together, how can you make sure that that's a good space where, sure, they're not afraid to speak in front of you, but, this other person, they're a little afraid to speak up because they don't want Tom on the team to later mock them for a dumb idea, right? Or something, just the internal dynamics that are there too. So as a leader, your challenge is even more.
Yeah, you have to figure out how other people work, because you can't just do a one size fits all. Like, you can. I just feel like you won't get the full efficiency out of a group of people if you do that. Yeah. Like I used to have an old boss of mine. She was fantastic, wonderful. And I used to say, I'm not huge into basketball. Like, I wish I was more into it. I love playing it. I wish I was more into it. It just wasn't. It was a sport I grew up with, but it wasn't it didn't pull me in. Like baseball and soccer kind of pulled me in more. But I used to say to my old boss, she would Phil Jackson a situation, because I felt like she was just that person. Like, she was how people say that term, they're like, you're him, or you're that guy, you're him. Like, she was him. She was so to speak, she was the him. I would always be like, she Phil Jackson in that situation. And to me, I felt like she was really good at understanding how all our dynamics worked and how we worked together and how we worked as individuals. Yeah. And I feel like that was a very, like, what's the term? Like, feather in her hat was that she either spent time understanding that, or she just was like on a human level, she just got really good at that as a personal skill. But I feel like that makes the difference, and I feel like understanding like how your team works instead of just being like, I want you to do it this way, and like you can't always adapt to it. I feel like a lot of coaches are like that. Like the good ones, they understand people on different levels. They're not just like my way or the highway, so to speak.
Yeah. No,
so,
I agree.
Yeah,
and interpersonally too. Like if your team can work that way a little bit too, understand the other members of the team that they're working on. Mm-hmm. Then I think it tends to do a little better. There's not to jump into something else, but
no, you're good.
In tandem with what you were saying, but there's a book called The 5 Dysfunctions of Teams. It's pretty popular in the business world, but there's 5 levels of like dysfunction in a team, and they build on each other. So if you have the first one missing, then you for sure are missing the other. You're most likely missing the other components.
Oh, okay.
But the first one is absence of trust, and there's solutions to each of these. But
that's a big one.
Yeah, it's about being vulnerable, right? Can you speak up in the meeting? Are you trustworthy of the leader and the other members, kind of like we're talking about, to say what's on your mind, to actually feel safe to speak? I have
a real story that can tie into that. Yeah. It's like kind of short. It's another job I had a long time ago, completely different field than I'm in. We had a boss who, our company was doing this thing after like a month or two. They brought us in to be like, how's things going with the new manager that took over? And we had this big table of like 20 of us, and I was like right at the end, and it got around, and it was like everyone was like neutral, or they're like, yeah, she's good, blah blah blah. And I knew this wasn't true because I knew that everyone had, not everyone, but most people had complained about something. I'm talking like 85% of this team like complained about stuff with her, and it was more than just like, I don't know, her sense of style is weird or something. It was more than just like something small. It was like, no, these were like issues that affected the day to day. And I also just felt like one of her things was like she was bad at giving feedback. I feel like that just wasn't her skill, like a top skill for her. But it gets around and no one's saying anything because no one had the feeling that they could. Like, yeah, she's new, but she didn't like embed that right away. Like, hey, if there's something on, like whether it's me or something going on with me or the team or like the job, like let's figure it out. Like, I don't want you to just be like sitting there suffering and I don't know about it and then I can't solve it until later when it blows up. She didn't build that ecosystem at all or set that expectation with us. So it gets to me and I'm like, I'm going to say something that's like, I'm uncomfortable and I don't like what's going on, especially from our previous leader who I think she was great before. So I said, I feel like, there's this issue. And then after I said something, boom, 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 people started saying something because I said something. And I'm not saying this to be like, I said something when other people didn't. Like, I'm not trying to be that person. But it showed what she set up. And I think I just happened to be mad enough to say something about it.
Yeah.
But anyways, jump to the second one.
No, that's a great example. It also made me think about absence of trust could be judgment from others, but it could also be, do you actually trust their capabilities, right? Like you do need to, as a team, you need to make sure that the other people are competent, that they can do their job, and you feel like that they can do it well. So I think that's a big one for sure, too.
It's a good one.
So after absence of trust is fear of conflict. So again, your story is still a great example, right? This concept of like, if I say something, I'm going to start a fight and I don't want to do that, right? So
100%.
I won't say anything. The next is lack of commitment. So if your team is not committed, clearly you're going to have issues. And if they
that matters the smaller that you get too, because like if you have a small crew trying to accomplish something, you need everyone on board. The larger it gets, you can have variations, less, I think. Yeah. But
yeah, which is why probably big corporations tend to perform fine. Like they're probably not optimized, but they probably do okay because actually you can get away with a lot of this, right? Like, does the team trust each other? I don't know, but who cares? Because you're a corporate. I don't want to say corporate drone. That's not nice.
No, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's just kind of like this is. It doesn't. The company has systematized it so heavily that like it doesn't. And they've done that because of these issues, right? It's like, well, some of these are just hard to fix, and at scale, it gets even harder.
Yeah.
So
It's like when I watched the Founder movie about McDonald's when Michael Keaton plays it's like that where it's like they went from this cute little burger shop to maybe a couple to like this giant system, and they fixed other issues, but they also got others. Like it's the same thing. It's hard to. I don't think it's impossible. You're always going to have a trade-off. I don't think you can ever have everything. Cake and eat it too type of thing.
It feels like, like the Ted Lasso level of teamwork is very hard to scale, right? To put Like, it's really tough. So, anyways, you get a little bit of both. But to your point, small teams, absence of trust, fear of conflict, lack of commitment, avoidance of accountability, and then inattention to results, right? So those kind of play into each other as well. But if you don't have any metrics or KPIs, then it's just kind of chaos, and no one knows how to judge each other's work, and are you working towards the right goal? And then inattention to results is the step further, as in we're not even paying attention to like the revenue or the sales or if we're making progress on anything at all. So anyways,
no, it's good. And actually it kind of segues, unless you have a final thought, it kind of segues into something for me. Because something you said earlier, I guess you can take away from those. My other kind of hopefully lighter question, and I don't mean this to be in a negative sense, but maybe in kind of a fun, relieve the stress type of thing. What's the one personality type on a team that low-key drives you absolutely crazy? Like for me, I'll give you time to think. For me, it's the know-it-all person. It's just really hard. I don't like the fake leadership tone that they tend to take, because they think that they know it all. Maybe they do know a lot, and then they think that they're supposed to be in this sort of position. It's like, you can be a 10 out of 10, you know everything, but that doesn't mean you can be a leader. Perfect example, again, Ted Lasso. He doesn't know about English football, aka soccer. He didn't go into it knowing that, but he has the leadership skills to figure that out, which doesn't apply to everyone. But I don't think chiming in on everything is always helpful, even if you do know it. But also you partially could get it wrong, and then you're just saying it with confidence because you're so used to being that it's like, oh, they said it, and like people buy into it, and then later it ends up being wrong, and you're like, well, they said it because they kept saying everything, and it's just like no one stopped them. And I just think that's one of the worst things, people delivering false info with such strong confidence. I just don't like it. So you did say the word contrarian, or on the contrary, something having to do with our characters earlier. And a contrarian is not really my favorite person either. That's another dynamic that can happen. Sometimes they cross with other personality types, but contrarian was another second one where it's just like, okay. There's one thing to be the devil's advocate, and I've tried to be the devil's advocate, and I'm sure I've been a contrarian before, and I hate it. It's just so it's rarely helpful. It's seldomly very helpful. Anyways.
That's rough, man. I'm always the contrarian. Dang, dude.
You think so? You think you're always the contrarian?
Definitely devil's advocate. I do
that too.
I guess I'm probably a little better in the sense, though, that like I'll present the alternative, and if it's not opted in for, I'm good with. I'm just like, that's okay. Like, that's fine.
Right, fine, whatever.
We'll do that, but I'm not like harping on it. But
we are similar in that way. We're actually both kind of in the same mindset there.
Yeah. So, I think the one that came to mind, it maybe isn't the best answer, but it's the one that comes to mind, is like I'm not sure what you'd call it, but somebody who's like feigning commitment, if that's a way to put it. So like they express commitment to the goal, but it's also like you can tell that something doesn't. It's kind of like lying.
It's like disingenuous. It's
disingenuous, but like it's a weird.
Or is it like they're in just enough to look like they're in, but you know that they're not?
It's more like it's. I think the lying and the disingenuous comes from the standpoint of like they actually could be. They could be all in. They could be doing more than anybody. Okay. But it's the attitude of like I agree with that, right? Or I'll do, for sure. Like, let's do that. But they clearly don't agree, right?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. So it's less about like their work ethic and more about like their attitude of like, okay, fine. Like, I'll do it. It's kind of like the martyr. Maybe that's a good way to put it. Like, I'm the martyr on the team, right? Like, all right, I'll do it, even though,
You're like, I guess I'll fall on this sword, sure.
Yeah, kind of like that.
get what
It's
you
a little
mean,
bit of
yeah.
mix of a lot of things, but yeah, I think
Yeah.
to me the root of that is just like if you would just say what's on your mind. It's kind of like what we just talked about, right? Like the absence of trust. Like you don't trust anybody on the team, and if you don't trust the team, then you're off. For me, that's
Yeah.
like you're done. Like I can't have you on my team if you can't find a way to get past your trust issue.
I think if we tried to take both of these like kind of typically negative attributes and we tried to put positive spins on it, I guess for mine you could say, hopefully if they're speaking up that often, maybe they do get some stuff right and they kind of help bleed the room with positive. And yours, you could say that although this person is not offering the tude there is pretty negative, so it's not good, but maybe someone else notices it and it causes them to trigger and speak up because they're like, oh, I see a little bit of like disdain in this person, even though they're not going to say something. I'll say something because I know I'm not alone. That would maybe be the only pro you could take from that personality type, but that's a rough one. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. That is, I think you could do that, but yeah, it's just to me, it offends the fundamental step of being a team, and it's
100%. No, yeah.
If you can't do it, then you just can't be on the team. Like I don't know.
That was me just trying to play devil's advocate.
No,
trying
like
to see the positive side.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. You're right. It completely undermines the whole premise of being a team. It's like if the Avengers were like, hey, we're going to be the Avengers, and Hulk was just like, nah, I don't know, I guess. Like, it's just like, okay, well, it's not going to
all
work
right,
out.
Guess I got to smash stuff again. Like, oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I don't know. Sorry, that's your job. I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, that's good. I have two other questions. I don't know if you had one that was... Oh, wait, is it one question? No, I have two. I don't know if you have one that was, like, bleeding to get out.
Not necessarily. I was a little curious, though, because we've we did some team activities in our youth that some were a little more structured and some were a little more informal. You did a lot of soccer and more competitively than I did, but my kids are in soccer now. We just signed them up. They did their first
nice
game last week. So it's very interesting to like go as a dad and be like, initially I was like, yeah, it's fine. It's soccer. They're just kids. Like,
sure.
I don't care. It's fun. Let's have fun. And then I got there and I was like, no, I don't, you can't do that. You got to kick the ball. So I started it was creeping in. I didn't tell them that,
so
but in my head, that's what I'm like, we're going to go home and practice that. Cause that wasn't, that wasn't quite right.
I wonder how I'll get there because I have a unique perspective because like I also reffed soccer for a bit. So I see the referee's perspective. I've seen the player perspective, but I don't have the parental perspective at the moment. But obviously the player perspective is probably the most important one. But being the ref, I remember parents getting so mad, and I was like, I wasn't reffing club or like professional, whatever. I was reffing like 10-year-olds, and I was like, these parents would be like, I'd be like handball because kids, they'd be smacking the ball with their hand. Like it wasn't on purpose, but like they moved their hand down like this, and they hit the ball, and I was like, handball, we're gonna whatever. And the parents were like, come on! Ah! And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean he touched the ball with his hand? That's what it is.
It's like the fundamental rule. It's like, don't touch it with your hand.
I know, it's called football, technically. I mean, it's soccer. But I just was like, that perspective was unique. So I could see myself doing the parent thing, like you said. This will be fun, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, nah. You're just like, don't do that.
It's hard not to, yeah. Anyways, so they're doing that. So it's kind of interesting, the team dynamic there. But you played soccer. We played video games, which I would consider.
Yeah, no, definitely a team sport.
Yeah, like right after we kind of started growing up in life, I thought, man, that was such a waste of time. Like I spent so much time wasting all that energy and time on video games. But in retrospect now, I'm like, that's actually, we did a lot of team building, and like it was competitive, and we were, working together as a team, calling things out, doing different things. So,
I mean,
anyways,
you were working together and calling things out. I was just running in all the time. I don't know if you remember that. I was definitely the guy that was like, I'm going in, and then it would throw a grenade.
You were good because we would see where you died on the map. And
exactly.
There's an enemy right there.
I was like the tank without the tank attributes.
Yeah, you just die, and it's like, oh, you're like the UAV that we didn't have. It was just like, oh, there's a bad guy there.
I trade my life to give away 2 or 3 lives.
Yeah, exactly. It was perfect. Anyways, so that was kind of our youth experience. You probably had other teams, I don't know, but I guess I was just curious how you've seen teamwork adapt as you've gotten older. What changes have you noticed? What are some of the key things from a team that you miss and enjoyed that you don't see as much anymore since we're older, or just kind of different stuff like that?
I feel like, I mean, one of the differences I remember when I was younger, because I had a lot of different coaches. I also had my own father as a coach for a bit, and my brother did too. But I played primarily soccer. That was most of my sports stuff. I mean, other than skateboarding, like skateboarding and soccer, those were the two things I did. And then it was like, oh, we did some basketball and some baseball and whatnot. As also when I was younger, and I feel like the biggest difference I can think of right now over time is what we were talking about earlier, like kind of people creating a space. I know it sounds kind of corny. I don't want to be like safe space is a good phrase, but it also kind of, I think, gets co-opted and kind of sounds corny sometimes. Like safe space. I just don't want it to feel kind of goofy. But I probably had more male coaches than female coaches in my sporting career, so to speak. But the female coaches I had, I'm not gonna lie, they were a bit better about doing that. And some of the guy coaches were fine. I feel like the one or two women coaches I have were just better at creating that environment of like, I'm going to listen to you and not just tell you what to do. Yeah. Whereas I feel like the men coaches were much more like, I'm just going to tell you what to do and I want you to do it. And sometimes that is good. Like it's definitely helpful. I think there's a balance of both, because I also don't think you can go full soft and be like, I'm just going to listen to the team. So you need a balance. I think everything's a balance, but I don't know. I don't know what's changed over time other than that. Like, I feel like we've gotten better at listening to other people's point of views, which I think is a huge thing. But you could also argue the society's also kind of a mess and the world is a mess, and maybe we don't see each other's point of views as well as we think. Not that it's not being taught, but I would say that's probably the biggest difference, because when I started out, there wasn't really listening to, like, your ideas. It was like, I'm going to say this, you're going to go do that. Yeah. Then I feel like as I left it, and then also what I've seen, I feel like people have gotten better at that. That'd probably be what I think. That's
interesting. Mine is almost the opposite perspective. Mm-hmm. I feel like I've noticed, and maybe it's just that I work with slightly older generation now, but I feel like there's less collaboration. Like the older that people get, the less inclined they are to work as a team. And maybe it's a little bit because of what you just said, which is with the dynamic of, like, when you're young, I'm just thinking as like teenagers, we're sitting there playing games, and the teamwork was, first of all, it's just how the game is designed, but it's also integral to like winning. You have to work as a team, and you guys were my friends, and so it was just natural, right? It was like, this is my survival mechanism, not just in this game, but also when we're done playing. Like, this is how I survive. Is like, this is in a kind of silly way, but it's like my tribe, right? Like, you guys, we go to school, we survive at school because we have a bond, and so on and so forth. And so I feel like it was pretty close from that standpoint. Soccer, maybe the same. I could see what you're saying, though, from the standpoint of like the leader in that position is more like, do this, do that, don't do that. I mean, that's parents. I do that to my kids for sure, right? Like, it's just it's kind of the aspect. But I feel like there was a brief period of time on my mission, and then when I worked with people who were closer to my age, it felt like the teamwork was a lot easier to do. And I wonder if there was just something about simply just being that age that required that, right? That made us feel like, we need to work together because we're all at this certain position in life, right? We're all scared missionaries. Yeah, you relate a lot more. And we only have each other really to kind of get through. All these people are around us, and most of them just don't want to listen to us, but some of them are actively aggressive towards us. And then you get home and it's like, well, I'm just starting my career and I have to find a way to get to the top, and I need people to help me along the way, so we're going to help each other. Whereas what I feel like I see in the older generation is just like, we made it, and so I don't need you coming in here and telling me how to run my business. Right. I do this I can do this on my own, right? That kind of thing. And so
I think you need to bridge that gap. The age thing is so interesting to me, and not to be like in an ageist perspective by any means, because I think younger medium height, like older. They all have something to offer, but I think it is really challenging if you don't have a way to bridge that gap. So like if I am a 30-year-old and I have someone who's a 40-year-old and someone who's a 50-year-old, you can probably find things, with each other a little bit. But like if it's like two 30-year-olds, two 65-year-olds working on something, it's going to be a lot harder. Like you're going to side with your person. It's just going to be harder to build that bridge. But I think if you have an array of people in the middle, like you can find ways to do that, because you could say like someone who's maybe older and either they only have like a hyper focus on one thing and that's what they want to be good at this point, like towards the end of their career, or they just want to do it my way or the highway. You can have someone who's, older, but like older than you, but only a little younger than them, that can relate with you. And you can kind of feel maybe not crazy. They're like, yeah, I know they're like that, whatever. And then you can kind of like release the tension that way and find balance. And I don't know. I feel like the same is inverse. Like if you're like a, Gen Alpha, I don't know how old the Gen Alpha is right now, but Gen Z, like younger Gen Z maybe, and you're an older person and you're just like, this person's coming in here with a million ideas, things that like, they don't make sense to me, or maybe like they don't make sense with like how we've done it and it's worked this way, why change it? And you can find someone who's in the middle and they can be like, new ideas are good, but they can also tell you as the older person, like, I get it. Like some of these ideas, they're not all good. And like, you know what I mean? Like you can find that bridge.
That's fair.
I don't know.
No, I like that. Having a bridge between the two.
So I have two. I don't know if we'll have time to get through both, but I'll let you choose one. I'll let you choose one or the other. I'll give you both.
All right.
Is a truly equal team even possible without a singular leader? Or does every group eventually need someone to make the call? So that's one question.
Okay.
Or we talk a lot about what makes teams succeed, but what do you think that we get wrong about teamwork? Like a belief people hold that actually makes teams worse. We could try to cover both, but if you want to pick one, I would give you pick one over the other.
Those are both good questions. I like the second one. I just don't have a good response to it, I don't think.
Let me give you mine, and then you can see.
All
I'll
right.
give you my response.
All right.
Okay, so just to reiterate again, like there's a lot of different things you can talk about when it comes to like teams and how they succeed, but what's like a belief people hold that actually makes teams worse? I know that too many cooks in the kitchen is like a bad thing. That's like a top of list for me because I see it all the time. I've experienced that like one too many times in various roles across my career, even in different fields I was in. And like when I say too many people, I mean like decision makers, right? Like you can have like 50 people on a team, but you should only have 3 to 5 people making some sort of final decision or a decision for the next step or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you can't have 10 plus people in there. Like that's just too many. That's too many opinions. You need to assign designated people. I also think we sometimes put people in positions of power or decision making that should not be there. Like for instance, we think just because they have a voice, like they have power and authority, like they're a senior director or VP or whatever, and that means that they should be heard. And I'm not saying that in a mean way, but we default to like, hey, they're in this position for a reason. They should be heard on their idea. Rather than they should be heard because they have a voice and the voice is actually relevant to what's going on. Because let's say you and I were starting a graphic design firm and there's someone that is in a VP field, so they have, lack of a better way of saying it, the audacity to think, hey, I've been in the business world for 10 years. I can offer you some advice, but their advice has nothing to do with our field. Yeah. And it's like, it could apply, but it might not, but they think it does just because like they've been around the block, even though it has nothing to do with what applies to our business model or something. It's just like, I don't think title equals experience all the time. But those are my two things. It's like that experience level versus title. And then the too many cooks in the kitchen is honestly my number one. It's just so stressful. I feel like it just makes everyone stressed out. Not my favorite.
Well, you answered the other question with that one, right? In terms of like, you do need probably somebody to step up and lead the team, make a decision.
Well, my opinion on that, because we're getting into it already, so I'll say it.
Yeah.
My opinion is I've had mixed thoughts on it because I once had a team a few years back. It was the manager I mentioned earlier, who I said was like awesome. I can't remember what story it was I was talking about, but she, for whatever reason, was gone at the time, and we had this like weird middle period. We were waiting to get like a new manager. It's a couple months. I couldn't believe it, to be honest. Like, we worked really well as a team, like without like a direct leader. Like, we had a senior person, but they didn't really like tell us what to do or anything. They were just more senior than us. We didn't run into this, but the primary downside of not having a leader is that you may not have a central figure who has that voice. This is what I was talking about earlier, which is the downside of like that. So we never ran into it. Like, we worked really great as a team. Things were smooth. We did our projects. We communicated with the other stakeholders and whatever. We got things done. And by the end of the day, we were all like feeling great. But if we had run across that, where we did need like a person with that voice, it could have been a problem. Because let's say we had some huge change come down the pipeline and we were like, oh, we need that. This is how that affects us. That's not good. Like, this is going to be really bad for our team. And if we didn't have a voice as a leader that could stand up, who are we to these people? Designers? Like, they might not really care about our 2 cents. Yeah. So I get why that's like valuable, is to have a seat at the table, so to speak. Because I think that's just really valuable. This could apply to anything. It could be like a band, an office, like, you know, people hire an agent. That's your voice. Anyway, mixed feelings.
Yeah, I was gonna say you still feel like you need at least one person to make a final decision, though, right? On a team.
Yeah, like that team running so smoothly was amazing. And I've seen it in little smaller bouts, but that was by far the longest. And it proved to me that a manager isn't always like black and white needed, at least not on a day-to-day. Maybe on a bigger picture thing, like Michael Scott, like just the big picture stuff. It totally makes sense. And there's validity to it for sure. But people that want to micromanage, I haven't had a micromanage boss for a bit, but I've had some in the past. And those people that are like hyper micromanaging, they are difficult. They make it so much harder because they can't like step back and like do the stuff that is important for what their role is and why it exists. But I agree with you. I think at the end of the day, I think it would be nice to have a leader, even if it was like, you know, the popes. Like, if it was 2 people deciding something or 3 people, because like that way we have a 2 out of 3 vote. If there is some sort of deciding system that comes up to a peak, then yes, I agree there needs to be something. Because think about bands that break up. Like, one person wants to leave, and then another person's like, well, I don't want to leave, but like, now that they're gone, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, now all of a sudden it's falling apart and there's not a central person. So I assume you agree, like, you probably think that you need to have a central figure at the end of the day.
I think so. Yeah. I'm also one for like levels of authority, like, are important to me.
Sure.
A hierarchy of some structure. Again, I don't think it can look however it needs to, but I do think there needs to be some level of authority so that decisions can be made in a timely manner and according to the objective or the overall purpose or mission of that specific team function. So
yeah, that's fair.
I would agree with that. And I think that kind of leads into maybe how I would answer, you know, this question of like a bad team or what team advice that we maybe get mixed up or whatever. But one size fits all. I don't think there's any one model that works really well. You and I have talked about a very specific type of model that I think works probably for yours and mine's specific personalities, but it probably also matriculates into millennials in general, like just across the board.
Yeah, that's probably true.
We respond better to collaboration. Don't just tell us what to do. Help us see the meaning behind it. Help us understand, get a grasp of the vision that we can help you achieve as the boss, right? We want to be trusted. We want to trust you. We want to be open, build, you know, all these things we've talked about. But I also think there are situations and potentially different generations or very different people who would respond better to me just coming into a room and saying, here's how it's going to be. And that's what it is. And they object and I say, shut up. We're not doing it that way. I just told you how we're going to do it. And they just are like, yeah, okay. All right.
Wait. Let's act it out. Let's act it out. All right, I'm in the room. I'm waiting.
You're in the room. I'm the guy. I'm the boss.
You're the boss. I'm the guy. And I'm just like, so what are we going to do, boss? What's the situation?
Man, you're going full Sopranos, huh? We're going to stop doing. So you know how we've been shipping the cocaine in the boxes like this?
Yeah.
We're not doing that anymore. We're going to ship them in these boxes now, and we're going to put this label on it, and it's going to be much faster this way.
But those boxes don't make sense with the other boxes.
Hey, Tony, shut your face, or I'll stuff some gabagool down your throat so you choke on it. All right?
All right.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
I'm right. I'm here.
All right. Okay. Hey. Gee whiz, boss. All right.
You's right. You said it. You got it.
Hey, easy, boss. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's like that.
But you're not wrong. Like, there's definitely people who, like, there's some people who, like, they need that, like, black and white authority level.
Yeah.
And there's people who don't want it at all. Like, the one size fit all is, like, another, that's a pretty good one because I just don't think, I don't think that's true either. I don't think that's, again, scaling, depending on the people, maybe you can make things work, but on average, I wouldn't buy that.
It's just another check mark in the difficulty of the leader box. Like, you've got to be able to try and figure out these different personality types and how to lead them and how to create the team based around not just one specific model, but, you know, multiple. Try and mesh all of that stuff together. It's not easy. So
maybe I'm also biased. Like, I don't like when I see one size fits all. Like, I'm tall. Like, as you know, like, I'm tall. So, like, this hat is not a one size fits all hat because most hats do not fit my giant head. And it's not because I have a big brain. It's rattling around. It's because I have a tiny brain.
No,
but
this is brain.
This mammoth hat, like, they make hats for people that have really big heads. And I'm like, oh, I love it. Because the amount of times I see a cool hat and then I'm like, what's the sizes? And I get to it. It's like one size fits all. I'm like, no. It's like, it's not going to fit all.
It doesn't. But
so
mammoth fits your head. Those are cool hats, too.
Yeah, they
Shout
make some
out
pretty
to
good
Mammoth,
ones.
dude.
I know, right? Sponsor?
Get some
not
royalties. All right. That was a good discussion on teams. This is a big topic. I feel like we could do like a real deep dive. This would be one I'd want to like study up on.
Also, it would be cool to have someone who is like I've been in leadership-esque type roles but I've never been like full leader of like 20, 30 people. I've never had that dynamic. I've had, like I said, a ref isn't a leader, but it's like I have an authority, and then it's like I've been like a lead on a team where it's like I'm this in between, where it's like I watch the team, but it's not my final say on stuff. Like, I'd like to have someone, and I do have a few people that would be, I think, probably good guests for this type of mentality that we could like probe and ask and just be like, you've been a leader for this, or you've been a director for this long. I'd be curious, like, what is your thought on like this dynamic? So maybe we can have him on as future guest. I don't know.
That hurts, dude.
Have you had a team of people?
Yeah, I led.
I thought you were in a group of people. I don't remember you having like a team of subordinates, like Dwight would say.
Yeah, subordinates. That's what I would.
How many people? I don't remember. I just don't remember.
I did 10 people for like 3 years, and then 40 people for a year.
That had to be different. I know we're getting closer to time, but like, what was the big difference between that? Can you remember? Because I'm just curious now.
Yeah, I didn't like it as much, to be honest.
The bigger team?
I liked the smaller team.
Yeah, I would too. I think
I enjoyed that a lot more. Getting to know. I managed 2 people under me, and then they managed a collective 40 associates. But it was a weird dynamic. I still had to kind of pseudo manage all the 40, and so that was a little straining. But it also I just didn't feel like I could connect with them as well. I liked the
not enough time
team.
in the day either.
Yeah, I got to develop those people on the smaller team. I could kind of help them with each individual challenge. They also did different functions. I was managing sales reps and customer service reps and business development people. It was just kind of a broad range of revenue driving people versus the other time was bookkeepers, which still a very important job and hard. But it was just straight bookkeeping and fulfillment of services, and it just wasn't the same. So I think that was the biggest thing for me, was just I missed being able to get to know them as individuals and help them develop to the next stage of their career as they were trying to kind of keep growing.
There's something special about that small team. Like, I haven't led a smaller team, but I've been on those smaller teams where it's like, there's 4 or 5 of us, and then we have like a senior person, and then we have like our leader, and it's like there's something different about that vibe. It's like it's like being on like a sports team. I mean, those can be big, but you know what I mean? Like, you get to know those people versus like oh, I'm one in a sea of 150, and like, yeah, I have my team, but like, really, we're this bigger unit, and it's just, I don't know, it's just there's something different about it, and I agree with you. Like,
Yeah.
I probably, if I was like leading a team of people like that, I would prefer to have like a 10 or less people situation.
Yeah, I think you put it well. It's like a team, like a sports team. It's just different.
I can't believe I forgot that. Like, I remember you talking about like the different dynamics and whatever, but I could have sworn. Maybe I'm getting you confused with somebody else. Like, maybe that's what I was thinking. I remember you were on like different teams with dynamics. I didn't know that you had like a direct set of people under you. Maybe I thought 1 or 2. I didn't know you maybe had 10 or even like 40, even if it's like, sub down another level. But
it was fun.
Very different.
It was good. Same thing in the mission too. I was served in different leadership positions there as well, and it was kind of the same scenario I had. There was a time when I had like 6, maybe 8 people that I helped lead, and then another time when I had 25, and the 8 team kind of function was just, it was great for me. 25 was interesting and fun and got to learn some different aspects, but I didn't like it nearly as much. So,
you know what? I did have this one. Actually, I lied. There was something. I sold this thing called Focus Mite to like 20 people, and they sold it to like 40 people. And then they sold it to like 120 people. So I really had like hundreds of people under me at one point. It definitely wasn't a scheme. It wasn't a pyramid scheme. Like, it was me like this, and then the next level was here, and then the next was like this, like this, like this, and there's this whole bottom level. Yeah. So like, it wasn't a pyramid scheme though.
Not a pyramid scheme. Not a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, should we outro?
Yeah.
I've been cooking up a good one.
Shit cooking.
Oh, yeah, dude.
He's cooking. Sorry, that's from Home Alone 2, I think.
Cooking it, dude. It's been roasting for like a long time. Like, I've had it in the slow cooker since yesterday.
Ooh, slow cooking. Release that steam. Like,
yeah. 24 hours slow cooking. Are you ready?
I don't know if I... Did you wear that shirt just for this, or did you happen to be wearing it already?
No, I didn't wear it just for this, but
it works.
I just wanted a comfortable shirt to wear tonight, so this is
a good one.
It's like massive.
Is it?
Shirt. Yeah.
How's
I could fly out of I could Tom Cruise out of an airplane in this shirt, dude.
It's so funny because I know this will go at the end of the podcast, but I was swimming. Me and Sarah went for a swim together, and we were thinking about the team question of like the 5 people you would ask. And the only person we could definitively say that my brother would choose for his 5 would be Ethan Hunt. I don't know if he would say Tom Cruise, but like she said Ethan Hunt, and I was like, that's the only one I feel like I could just say for sure. I don't know who else he would pick, like definitively. Yeah. I don't know. It was funny though. I'm sure I'll get his take on it. I got Sarah's take on it, which was interesting. I told her I was trying not to go superhero route. I was like, not that you couldn't do that, but I was trying not to initially. And her like second or third went in, she was like, Cap. She was like immediately. She's like, I'll take Cap. And I was like...
he came up for me too. I didn't put him on my final list, but he was a tough one to... I tried to steer away from superheroes too, because it almost felt too easy.
Yeah. So, I don't know. How's there's a couple things I want to ask before we jump in and obviously start doing the podcast, but how's your Monday going? I had a rough one, so I'm curious how yours was.
It was a rough Monday.
Yeah.
It was okay. It wasn't a great Monday, but it wasn't the worst. So
take it.
Nothing special about it.
I had kind of a tornado situation on like the end of last week, and I told a stakeholder at work, we were talking about it, and I was like, it's kind of a Friday, but in a bad way today. And he goes, how is that possible? And I was like, it's because last Friday was like a tornado, and it kind of is carrying into today. And then he goes, sounds more like a hurricane because they last longer. And I was like, damn, all right. Nice. Give him props on that. That's pretty good.
Yeah, good one.
just like a lot of chaos, a lot of like. Sometimes I like work when you can just walk in, just start working, and then just leave and be done, and like you don't have to deal with like the logistics of stuff, or I don't have to do like admin basic stuff work, like stuff I don't want to do for my actual like work. Those are the nice weeks when I can just be like, oh, I know the exact things I got to do. I'm just going to come in, I'm going to do them, I'm going to leave. I don't have to ask questions. People don't have to ask me questions too much. It's just nice. But they come and go. They ebb and flow.
I like when we're texting and then like we're on here and you're using terms like execution and stakeholder.
Why?
You're just so corporate, man.
Oh yeah, it's got corporate brain on. I try not to dig. There's some people at any job that I've had who dig heavy into the corporate speak. I try not to too much. But there's some people who do like what is it like? Let's take it offline. That's one of them.
That's a good one.
What's the other one? Using stakeholders. What's another phrase that people always say? I can't think of it. But the one take it offline one, I feel like is almost like a meme, but it always comes up like in real like scenarios. I've never actually said that. I've heard people say it all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good one. Circle back, that kind of stuff.
I think it's funny when people try to like layer it when they don't need to. Like if you and I were like, we know we're gonna take something offline, so to speak. If I was like, we'll talk about it later. We can take it offline and talk about it later. It's like we get it. You don't have to like say the line. You're already saying the line. Like you're already saying we can talk later.
Yeah.
Anyways, otherwise my Monday's not been bad. Like I said, we went for a swim. There was a family there, a little family there. And they had like a floating shark, and the kid he fell off the shark. It was cute. It was pretty funny.
Was he just gasping for air?
No, I think he ended up being fine. He kind of just did that thing where like kids just like bounce back and he kept moving. Like he didn't even think about it. And he's pretty little. He had to be like 2 or 3. I don't think he wasn't too old. I take it your kids weren't too crazy tonight because you hopped on. You didn't have any like crazy delay or nothing, or do you disagree?
They were, one of them hid their stuffed animal. Thought it was funny that they hid it. They're like,
wait, they hid the other person's or their own?
No, they hid their own, and then they came out of the room saying they lost it. They're like, I lost it, and I was like, okay. That's why I go in there, and then it's so hard not to give away who it was, but. They're just sitting there like snickering, like, oh, I'm gonna be so surprised. And then I lost it. I was done. So not my best dad day for sure.
They were trying to mess with you, like they were purposely doing it to mess with you.
Yeah, it was like a joke, and I wasn't having it. So
actually, you know what? Like, I feel like it could be Will, or it could be either of them. I could picture the two older ones at least, not the little one. The little one's
definitely Will, though. Yep, definitely.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
And I just wasn't having it. I said, listen, I said, I'm not looking for it. You can sleep in the basement tonight. And he was like, no, I don't want to do that.
I can sleep in the basement.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're sleeping in the basement.
Is it like I lost it, I can't go to sleep without it? Is it that type of thing?
It's that, but he was doing it intentionally.
So he's like, yeah, you got to find it.
Yeah. Exactly like
incredible. I can see how that could be annoying. It's funny to me, but I'm sure when it happens a million times, or if you're just having a day, you're like, I don't need this. Come on, just be a guy.
When you're the dad, like the person of some level of authority, it's kind of like, come on, dude. Like it's like disrespectful. You know, it's like, nah, I don't think so, man.
Come on, bro, be a guy.
You're in the basement tonight now. That's what's happening.
The base. When you say the basement, my head it pictures a whole different kind of basement
terrible.
than you have.
Yeah.
It's like you guys don't watch like horror movies really, but it's you know the guy who was from The Whitest Kids You Know? He's in that like trope on YouTube. He made the Barbarian movie. I picture a basement where like it's like a basement.
I thought you were gonna go weapons, but you went.
No, yeah. Dude, he's doing
weapons.
Oh, yeah, weapons. Like, running around. He's doing a Resident Evil movie too, which will be cool because I think the only Resident Evils we've ever seen are like action flicks. They're not like the horror games. I guess he's making one. Yeah, he's making traditional.
Focused. That's kind of cool.
That'll be interesting because it's not an original IP by him. He's like using an IP, so that'll be like a test of I think director skill. I think. You would argue that most people that are well-rounded directors could do both, like original screenplays and adapt and stuff, but I guess we'll see. I don't know.
It's kind of like I can't remember. I saw somebody say this. Maybe it was you. I don't remember. But like having James Gunn make a movie that wasn't like a team-based movie.
Yeah, I think we
would
talked
be
about
a
that.
challenge for him because he's just so.
He clearly
he's really
leans into
good.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, at the team stuff. But could he make like a solo? Direct a solo like Superman? He was involved with, but he was not the director. So was he?
Yeah, and even no, I don't.
He was
No,
just
no, he does. He was the director. He's not
Was he the
directing
director?
Supergirl, but he was. But even in that, there is like a team around him,
I guess that's
kind
true,
of.
Yeah.
He did do that movie Super that had, which is funny, with like Rainn Wilson and there's a few actors in it, but again, it was like a little bit of an ensemble. Like I don't know that he could direct. Like we just saw Project Hail Mary, and we after reread the book and everything, loved it. I don't know if he could handle like a solo guy where there's supporting cast, but it's mostly him the whole movie. I don't know if he could handle that. It'd be interesting. He'd have to develop like a mental character where he's like seeing a hallucination of another character. I feel like that's how he'd get away with it.